Health and Fitness. I'm your host, Rex Stevens, in studio with producer Max Woodcock. Once again, out of studio, Olympian Paul Tarek. DL has been a while, Max, so we once again go to pinch hitter, former Major League catcher, current scout for the Chicago Cubs. Thanks for coming back, Adam Melhuse.
Oh, it's good to be here, guys.
Well, another day. It's another day for a great show. Excited about this show. But, Max, how about last week? Last week's show, flat out amazing. And if you guys missed last week's show, you missed out on a 13-year-old that simply knocked our socks off. You almost had the tears flowing down as we listened to Winter Vanecki. If you didn't hear this, check us out on Facebook or check us out on livingtherun.com. That'll be 10 minutes you will be super glad you listened to. But, Max, fantastic stuff. Leadership from a teenager that is just unparalleled.
She is, without question, the most accomplished 13-year-old I've ever met in my life. Well, ever spoken to in my life.
It was good stuff for sure. Tonight we are excited to hear from a guy, Richard Burgunder, who's an Xterra racer. Adam, as we keep getting more and more guests, we keep seeing more and more kind of crazy things out there. These guys taking things to the next level. This guy did a race apparently out in Tokyo, the hardest Xterra race they talk about. And within 24 hours went and decided to kind of run up Mount Fuji for a little extra. What do you think in this retired life of yours now? Is this something that sounds exciting to you?
How about a jog around the block?
Yeah.
Now, educate me here. Xterra, what is that exactly?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I don't know a ton about it, but apparently it's really about getting out in nature and doing some of these different types of races out in nature. And I think I've even seen videos where guys, they're on bikes and they're going through water and different stuff. They're even having to pick up the bike and run with it and get into kind of some different natural settings, some tough stuff. But then they add that element of endurance like these ultra marathons. Rich apparently does these ultra marathons too, and really, really accomplished athlete. But you made a good point. How about just get around the block? One of the things we're trying to do here on Living the Run is not necessarily compare ourselves to others, but really just get out and say, hey, if somebody's doing something like that, I bet I can get out, add a little fitness to my life, add a little bit of improvement in health just by making a simple lifestyle change.
No, I mean every time I've been on the show, I've always learned something, but it's always pushed me a little bit. I mean, obviously, being a baseball player, it was baseball, my profession, pushing me. Now there isn't really anything pushing me. I exercise enough. I eat healthy enough for my kids and my family, to live a healthy lifestyle. But hearing some of these guys, the one guy we're talking about, what was it, 300 miles in 100 hours? I mean, that's like 4 days running. I mean, okay, now let's be clear. I don't plan on challenging that anytime soon. But you know what? Pushing my limits a little bit. Like, okay, if my limit right now is 3 miles and I'm starting to really poop, and let's bump it up to 4 miles then, or something. Just push the limits a little bit.
Yeah, and that just goes to goals, and we talk about that all the time. I'm looking forward to mid-October. It looks like we're going to have a guy on this show that is doing exactly what you said. He's going to try to run 300 miles in less than 100 hours, and really what that equates to is 75 miles a day for 4 days straight. And he will be under that 100-hour mark. Pretty amazing
now, is that
stuff.
Healthy? I mean,
well, clearly not. But again, it goes back to we talked to Dr. Mike Hall. You were here when Dr. Mike Hall from Tech. He talked a little bit about that performance versus longevity thing, and this is clearly it's a performance-based thing. It's really trying to get to that next level. It's not about this is going to help me age appropriately. Somehow
it's going to have negative effect of that.
Somehow my cells are going to be better. I was listening to Jim Rome the other day. I thought about this, Max, as we look at this show on Living the Run, and he starts off the show with breaking it down, what's going to happen in hour 1 versus hour 2 versus hour 3. I started thinking, gosh, how do we break it down on Living the Run? We got that hour. It never seems like anything's been broken down quite in that way. But I'll say this. We're searching for it. And we had last week, and actually the last 2 weeks, the first week we kind of inadvertently stumbled upon this, but Tara had come in with kind of a nutrition idea. We went to Virginia last week talking Paleolithic diet and how does that apply to our health and our fitness. It was a great segment. We're going to bring Virginia back tonight in a segment later in the show, we're going to talk a little kombucha. This is a big deal, Kombucha is being sold all over the place. People are paying pretty high prices over at New Frontiers, Whole Foods across the country.
What the heck is kombucha?
You're going to hear about this. It's a mushroom deal. We're going to be talking a little bit about mushrooms, but the mushrooms that don't kind of put you into
not the magical kind. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, not the spiritual mushrooms.
Okay.
No Ram Dass type of stuff here. But we're going to talk a little bit about mushrooms. We're going to talk about a little bit about kombucha, which will be kind of fun. But I think what we got to do, Max, Adam, you tell me, we got to look for an idea of getting one of these guys out here. Maybe we make a call out to some guys. Get some, let's make a little challenge. Maybe we go to Ryan Joyner over there at Athlon Elite. Maybe we go to Michael Hughes over there at Gymnazo. Maybe we hit up the CrossFit guys. But I'd like to have one of those guys come on a weekly basis and challenge our listeners with a fantastic workout. Something that gets people motivated, something that gives them a goal. And then we were talking about one just the other day. So, guys, if you're out there, Ryan Joyners, CrossFit gym owners, Michael Hughes, give us a buzz, 805-595-ESPN. We'll get you on, and we want to hear a workout of the day, something that could challenge our listeners, something they could do either with equipment or without, preferably. We'll talk about one we talked about today, Adam. That was the one where we go out to the track, Cal Poly. You could do this at Slow High. You could do this anywhere. And we took a number. So I took 10, and I took 10 pull-ups, 25 push-ups, and then a track lap. And I picked a time, and I picked 2 minutes to run around. Did that interval 10 times. So you pick your number, but it was a really fantastic workout. It took no equipment. Got the legs, got the arms, pushed, pulled, and it was a fun thing. And I think one of the things we could do is we could start a little challenge and say, hey, who got the fastest time in 10 rounds of that? Fun stuff. We'll post it on Living the Run. I think Max is already thinking he can beat my time, but he's already started with excuses, Adam, about this sinus infection. He's just not breathing as well right now, so he's going to wait till maybe the weekend to get in that workout. But what do you think about this?
I think that's great. Anything that pushes you and challenges you, and especially, aside from the sinus excuse, you have no excuses. There's, no equipment necessary. You go, if you can't get to a track, run around the block, pace it off or walk it off so beforehand and, do some, some burpees, some push-ups and a lap or whatever it is. You can get really creative with that stuff, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly it. Let's get some creativity from the guys that do it every day. There's guys out there that are writing up these workouts every single day. And one of the difficult things for any of us sitting at home, and we know we don't want to be sitting on the couch. We know we want to get out and do something, but we don't necessarily know what to do. And I think Living the Run here should be, a voice, a catapult for that. Oftentimes people can't go to a trainer 3-4 times a week for months on end. But if we can get one of these guys to step up, be a sponsor for Living the Run, to take that exercise to the next level, we would like it. So 805-595-ESPN, call in one of you guys if you are listening. Get them on the horn. Hey, I want to talk about Judd Clark. He's been on the show a couple times from Puma Aquatics. He sponsors this show. Puma Aquatics, really a neat thing. He talked about his father-in-law. And his father-in-law, I think he's late 70s now. The guy's been to the top of every peak on the highest peaks on every continent. He's run a marathon on every continent, much like Winter talked about last week. She's going to be the youngest kid to run a marathon on every continent. But he had a great statement. Judd told me that he said every day I want to get my blood to boil. I thought, God, that is brilliant. Get it warmed up, get doing something. And it's not so much about I got to beat somebody, compete with somebody, what have you, but I just increased the intensity. I heated that system up by doing something active. Kind of a cool phrase.
That's awesome, and you think about it, and I was just scanning back a couple friends who one had passed and one who's battling some stomach cancer stuff, but I'm sure those guys, especially my friend who's still living, he would like to be able to work out like he used to. This was a 4-sport athlete in high school, the best athlete in our high school. He's not down for the count. He's, I think, got pretty good control on this thing, but obviously with cancer, you never know. But I don't suspect he's working out like he used to. This was a guy who got a scholarship to play at a 4-year university, and not the same. So that's kind of my thing is like, you know what? Not only my friends, but I'm sure there's some other people out there that would gladly trade me places and just be able to get up and go work out that aren't able to do that, and then you get into the really, with all my travels, you see in the airport, a kid that's in a wheelchair or, some sort of deformity that literally brings tears to your eyes going, this kid would probably give anything to be able to get out of that chair and go play baseball and go shoot a basket or run around. And, here I'm going, whatever your story is, for me, I won't tell you my excuses, but it sits there and it slaps you right upside of the face. So, that's kind of where I go when I start thinking, I'm tired or I shouldn't go work out. I've already worked out 2 days, and I'm thinking, there's plenty of people that would love to go work out right now. Why don't I take advantage of this?
Yeah, to have that ability, I always go back to that quote, there's always somebody out there that would love to have the life you have. And there's no question about it. I saw just and you got to look for the motivation, Adam. I think what's one of the hardest things is it seems like there's often the distractions to bring out the negative, to draw stuff down. But I tell you, I had a lady that walked into my clinic and walked out of my clinic today 2.5 years ago, was over 500 pounds. We're talking 5+ bills, is a big lady. She's under 200 pounds. It is fantastic stuff. And she got to the point where she said, it's my life and it's my choice. And she made the choice to change. And it seems insurmountable. I mean, I can't even imagine having that loss, but she's made such huge changes. And, if we can do that, if we can encourage anybody, and sometimes it comes from just a slight change in the diet. Sometimes it comes from just a great story like Winter Vanecki last week. Who knows what it is, but look for them. They're all around. Those seeds are scattered. There's positivity everywhere, and we can find that encouragement. I was encouraged by a guy last week when as I was leaving the Run's studio here on ESPN 1280 The Ticket. I saw a guy, David Rivas, he runs Abraham Steel here locally. This guy is charging on his bike, and he was just flat out flying. His legs were rolling, and this is a former football player, big guy. So I saw him this week. I said, David, you look like you might have even been timing yourself getting back to where you live. I know where he lives. He lives over in the Arbors over there, and he says, I time it every night. He's challenging himself from his office to his house. It only takes him about 8 to 9 minutes, but he's getting the blood to boil. 8 or 9 minutes, he's getting the blood to boil. He's checking his speed. He's improving. He's getting his pace up. Man, cool stuff. So it just goes to show, look, it doesn't take that much. Don't beat yourself up if you can't be out there for 2 hours, 4 hours, or when we talk to Richard here in just a little bit, this guy's out there for 24 hours sometimes. That's not what it's about. It's about getting out there, pushing yourself, and getting the blood to boil.
No, that's awesome. And, just recently I got an app for my phone about, charting the run or some run app. And, this gal comes on and says, 5 minutes, your pace is, well, I'm not going to say my pace, but, at least I know what I'm doing. So, my next time I'm going to go, okay, I want to beat that. So if you don't, if you're not the competition junkie and get your adrenaline pumping from competing against somebody else and you just want to go mellow, that's a great way. I mean, that's helped my runs, as I'm out on the road and, go for a run or something instead of just cruising around and not getting the blood pumping. So now I'm like, okay, I got something that I got to compete against this clock. I want this gal to come on and tell me that, I'm cranking at, 5-6 minute miles. Yeah, right. But, something to just kind of measure and chart, and, like heart rate monitors, stuff like that is great. I mean, when you're going out there, naked, so to speak, with none of these apps or any barometers to test your, your goals and what you're doing, if you shoot an arrow at nothing, there's a pretty good chance you're going to hit nothing. So have a target.
That's a pretty good idea. I wonder what would happen if you threw a javelin at nothing. Might have to ask Paul Tarek about that. We talked about throwing javelins at coconuts. A javelin at nothing. I wonder if that phrase works going forward. Hey, Max, I had to get after you for this. How long have we been doing this show now? It's been about 6 months. We've been cruising on. I just saw you just liked our Facebook page, Living the Run. What's the delay?
I assumed that I had liked it back when Ryan first started it, and so I figured, I didn't need to go and like it again. But then I was on the page the other day, and I saw the like thing was not checked. So I was like, I gotta actually click that. That's my responsibility to this.
It's a tough deal, Adam, when you got a producer that doesn't even like the stuff you're doing. It's really, it makes the job rough. But if you haven't liked us on Facebook, go on there, like us on Facebook. And then again, all these podcasts, videos, etc. If you want to see Adam kind of trying to do some stretches here as he's trying to nurse his back going forward, you can see that online. It's good stuff. We might learn something. But here, guys, what I'm trying to get at is this stuff is online, and there's some tremendous, tremendous motivational stories. We're going to have one here in moments. Rich Burgunder, Xterra racer, looking forward to hearing him. So we will return back on Living the Run with Rich Burgunder, Xterra.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
Puma Aquatics team offers year-round swim programming for novice, recreational, and competitive swimmers. For 16 years, Puma has developed some of the fastest swimmers on the Central Coast, as well as the nation. Puma has 3 convenient locations to choose from, providing programming for all of San Luis Obispo County. Puma offers swim assessments for new swimmers on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the SLO Kennedy Club, Atascadero Kennedy Club, and Arroyo Grande High School. For more information about Puma Aquatics, check out pumaswim.org. Join the Puma Pride and challenge yourself to reach new levels in your swimming. Puma Aquatics, where pride, passion, and persistence pay off.
My name is Chris Randolph, and as a local track and field Olympic hopeful, I've been seeing Brian Quigley at SLO Wellness Center to help me with injury recovery during my season. Brian has not only helped me with some very extensive injuries, but has also educated me on the specifics of how my body moves when I compete. His knowledge and touch has helped me achieve personal bests in my competition and has also helped me in injury prevention. Becoming a wellness patient of his has helped me stop my injuries before they start, making time spent recovering shorter, leaving more time spent training for my goals. From injury prevention to wellness, Brian understands the patient and holistically helps them achieve their personal health-related goals. So check out Brian Quigley at peakperformanceslo.com and find him on Facebook and comment a response to this ad and get a complimentary 60-minute massage.
Hey guys, Paul Tarek from Living the Run here. As a former Olympian, there is only one place myself and fellow athletes go when it comes to chiropractic care on the Central Coast. With 4 chiropractors in the clinic, the SLO Wellness Center is the largest, most comprehensive group of docs in San Luis Obispo County. I began seeing Dr. Rex Stevens back in 2005 for spinal adjustments to help maximize my performance, minimize my injury, and allow me to compete at my best. When the difference between a win and a loss can be just a fraction of an inch, perfect alignment in all joints is essential. One of the great things about the team at SLO Wellness is no matter where I had an issue, whether it was my spine, my foot, knee, wrist, or shoulder, they were always able to help. This team, made up of Dr. Rex and Molly Stevens, Dr. Sachs, and Dr. Bandolo, is sure to help you reach your health and fitness goals too. If it's chiropractic care you need, go where I go, SLO Wellness Center. Check them out at slowwellness.com or call 543-8688.
Since 1929, Standard Process has been dedicated to providing the highest quality whole food supplements. Their philosophy is simple: to provide nutrients as they are found in nature. Today, scientists are finding more and more evidence demonstrating the benefits of whole food nutrients over high-dose synthetic vitamins. Standard Process's unique products are sold through healthcare professionals who are trained in using whole food nutrition as the first line of defense for the body. Visit www.standardprocess.com for more information or to find a Standard Process healthcare practitioner near you.
We're back with Living the Run.
Welcome back. Great show ahead. Adam Melhuse in studio, filling in for the great Paul Tarek. Just about to get on the line, Rich Burgunder, Xterra racer, accomplished guy. You know, this guy apparently is the second guy in the United States to have won 2 races in 2 different states in the same year. He really seems to take it to the next level. So excited to have Rich. Just wanted to say this this segment here is brought to us by Jaffa Cafe. Jaffa Cafe, our favorite Greek and Mediterranean food here on the Central Coast. So go in, get with Adam, Sean, Adnan, and the guys. Get yourself a little gyro. Get yourself a chicken shawarma or what have you, and visit those guys. Usually, we give these to the guests. But, Max, I don't think we've ever given one of these to you, have we? We have once? Oh, I didn't realize that. Max was honest on it. Maybe we'll have to give this gift card back to the new dad there. Sometimes they don't get all the meals going. Sometimes it's tough to get it rolling. So
do they have diapers there?
Yeah, I think they got changing tables. So anyway, this is brought to you by Jaffa Cafe. All right, on the phone with us now, Xterra racer, accomplished guy, sponsored by Power Bar. Thanks for joining us, Rich Burgunder. Thanks for coming on the air with us. I know you're traveling.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. It's an honor. I look forward to being on your show.
Hey, Rich, tell us a little bit. Not everybody knows what Xterra is all about. Tell us a little bit about the concept behind the races, what they're trying to accomplish, and what are the challenges that face most of these athletes?
Yes, absolutely. Well, Xterra is an extreme sports and extreme and adventure sports lifestyle brand, and what they do, they host a worldwide tour of both off-road triathlon and trail running, and they have been in the works for over 20 years. They initially started off, they're Hawaii-based, and they initially started off as a lifestyle company that put on the managed and promoted events, mainly off-road triathlon and like adventure racing, and then over the last several years, they integrated a trail running segment of the series as well, which has went global. It's really taken off both in the United States and also globally, and there's various championships abroad as well with in the United States with a major national championship and also a world championship. The national championship, for example, is held in Utah and Ogden, and then in conjunction with the off-road triathlon championship, it's all one big sports festival, which is actually coming up this weekend. And then the World Championships are held in Oahu, Hawaii, and then for off-road triathlon, they're in Maui. Throughout the season or throughout the year, there's numerous smaller level races that are on a regional basis, and different parts of the country are divided into regional trail run series, and what they can consist anywhere from 3 to 8 races, and they usually have at least one longer race, such as a 21K, which is considered the championship race. And what athletes do, just like the off-road triathlon series, is that athletes compete in these different regional races, and they earn points based on how they place in their age group in each race, and then whoever earns the most points at the end of the series is crowned regional champion for whatever region it is, like Florida or North Carolina or New England, etc. So then come national championships, a lot of the regional champions for each age group, and overall come to nationals and then ultimately compete to be crowned national champion in either their age group or even overall. So it's an amazing race series. The greatest thing about the Xterra trail running and also the off-road triathlon racing series is a type of racing venue that they provide. It's an extremely adventurous type of race atmosphere. They choose some of the most insane locations in the world to do races, and also in the United States, and also some of the most beautiful locations. A lot of the races, especially abroad, are held in extremely exotic, per se, locations or very remote locations, just places that are absolutely stunning in beauty, or and then even throughout the United States. For example, where the World Championships are held or the National Championships are in major adventure sports destinations. So they draw a crowd that really loves to get involved in adventure sports or extreme sports on that end. And the people are ultimately the best part about the Xterra series itself is just the people that it draws, the athletes themselves and the staff and everybody that's involved, all the partners and sponsors. Everybody is just amazing. It's a great group of people. I mean, a lot of people are very fun. It's a very interesting group, and just people know how to go out there and have a good time, push themselves to the limits, and enjoy it. And it's just all about having fun and just doing what you love to do.
Hey, talk about when you mention the word extreme, everybody kind of wants to know what that means. We had guy in here, Dave Van Maurik, not long ago, swimming 20 miles in the ocean in the middle of the night. Pretty extreme.
Wow,
A little bit of danger. Where's the danger? What's the danger lie in some of these things? You talk about being in remote spots. You talk about being in some extreme locations. What's kind of the most extreme thing you've seen out there?
Well, that's a great question. The most extreme thing that I've seen while doing this, I mean, I've been doing these races now, the exterior races, for about 4 or 5 years. And some of the races, obviously some of them are much more extreme in nature than others. But by far, the most extreme experience that I've had while doing these races was when I competed in the Exterior Japan Championship in 2010, which was held in Marinuma, Japan, which is it's about 4 hours north of Tokyo. It's in the mountains. The area is known as Samurai Country. It's a very ancient area. It's extremely majestic. It's an extremely exotic location. It's very, very remote. And you get to this location, and the race. This was a 30K trail run. In the same weekend, they also had a off-road triathlon championship, which is considered the Japan Championship. But the trail run itself, it was a 30K. So. And it started off right at this ski resort, and there was a large lake next to it, and we started relatively low. I mean, it was relatively close to sea level, and just over the first 10K or so of this course, we climbed up to almost 10,000 feet, and it was an incredible climb. I mean, the top 20 or so in the group which I was in at the time. It took us almost 2 hours just to get to the 10K point due to how difficult the course was. And as we're climbing, we were climbing these arêtes, these extremely steep arêtes, and these volcanic mountains. And you're going up.
Was this barefoot running? Just kidding.
It felt like it at times.
Wow.
I mean, the trails were so incredibly narrow, and there were parts of the trails as you're going up these volcanoes and these extremely steep and jagged mountains where you just look down. You're literally running on a 2-foot wide trail, and just right to the right of you, you have a sheer couple 100-foot cliff. And then once we got to the top of these volcanic mountains, you're running on top of the cliff faces and the arête along the ridges, and the descent as well was just incredible. You're coming down, and it was so incredibly steep, and there were rocks. Everything was extremely loose, and there's big boulders and all kind of sharp volcanic rock, and it was extremely exhilarating. It just because I mean, in all honesty, one slip and on some of those trails, I mean, could have resulted in a serious injury or worse. I mean, but it was such a rush in that sense. It was an adrenaline rush, and it was very exhilarating, and just you're embraced by this absolutely majestic and ancient type of atmosphere, and you're racing through it, and it was such an incredible feeling, not just in that sense, but also in the sense that you're competing against yourself because of how difficult this course was and how rugged it was. It just mentally and physically, it was amazing how difficult it was, and it was a true test of both endurance, physical stamina, and mental capacity.
Adam, does that describe anything like what was happening when you were playing catcher for the A's?
Not quite, although I did feel like I was on the hot seat on a volcano at times, but no, nothing quite like that. Wow.
Hey, Rich, talk to us about what you did that next day after that race.
Well, after the race, I mean,
as if that race wasn't enough. Tell us what you did the next day.
Well, I had the urge. I mean, obviously, you're in Japan, you're in this amazing location like this, so you have to make the most of your trip. And I was on time constraints, and so the next morning, I get back relatively late that night. We had a shuttle. We went back to Tokyo, and then the next morning, I had the urge to try to go to Mount Fuji first thing in the morning. So I slept maybe 4 hours that night, and I tried to catch the earliest bus that left Tokyo to Fuji, and I got on the bus, I get to Fuji, and I went ahead and I climbed Mount Fuji it was probably about 15 hours, maybe 15, 20 hours after the race, and it was, well, it was an incredible experience, and it was one of the most memorable things I've ever done in my life. It was absolutely brutal. I mean, I was right around the summit, and from being overexerted from the race, and because the Exterior Japan race is known as the most difficult Xterra race worldwide. Both of the races there, and just and they have some pretty darn tough races throughout the United States and the world. But the next day, just I attempted to climb to Summit Fuji, and I pushed myself so quickly down the mountain where once I got around the top, I ended up suffering from high altitude pulmonary edema actually, and I went into like a really bad panic attack, and then an anxiety attack, and lack of oxygen, and I actually had to get medical attention at one of the little huts on the mountain around 11,000 feet or 12,000, right around 11,000 feet, and it was a scary moment, but it was just on the other hand though too, it was a very gratifying experience. It was just it was truly living life, and I don't regret it at all. But it was an amazing experience.
No offense, but I think you needed medical attention when you decided to climb Fuji after forget getting to the top. I'm sorry, but very impressive, by the way.
Yeah, it's incredible stuff. And clearly it is what it means to live the run. It's pushing the limits. It's getting to that next level. But at what level, at what point for you did you decide this is what I want to do athletically? I mean, you were an athlete before. You were playing maybe some of the more traditional stuff. What got you into extreme sports to begin with?
Well, throughout my entire life, I've always loved the outdoors. I've always loved outdoor adventure. Mainly, through high school, I was in cross country and track, and then college, I started off running in college, and then I kind of quit that early on in college, and then I went into I started to get involved in multi-sports, and I did multi-sport for several years, and then some road running as far as different various distances. But it was probably in the summer of 2005 or 2006, I did a couple of races up in New England that were with one of my good friends that were an ultra marathon that was like an extremely challenging, I guess you can say an extreme ultra marathon. I was running this whole mountain up in Vermont, and it was just it was such an amazing event. There were so many obstacles through this 50K race, and there were all these different hurdles you had to do. They weren't set up per se, but they were just natural hurdles, and it was a beautiful race, and the people that were there were just totally awesome and really cool, and just everybody was fun. It was just such a different venue compared to like the road running or the track or things along that nature. So I really liked the adventure aspect of it, and it was I liked the sense of danger. I liked the adrenaline that factored into the event, and it was an entirely new dynamic for me, and I kind of fell in love after that event, and slowly I started to transition into adventure running or adventure racing, and then in the summer of 2008 is when I did my first Xterra event, which was actually in eastern Pennsylvania, and it was a fun experience. It was a very difficult race. I remember it was an extremely hot day, and the race director, it was a part of the Philly Trail Run Series, and Don Morrison, he was a big race director in southeastern Pennsylvania who put on a lot of great Xterra races and other races in that area. And it was my first event. I did several others later on there that were just great, but it hooked me. I really liked the Xterra experience, and shortly after that, I went to nationals in Bend, Oregon, when they had nationals in Oregon, and then I went to Worlds that year and did pretty well there. And it's just after running that course in Hawaii and just really meeting more of the people that do the Xterra races and living that lifestyle, I fell in love with it. And that's truly what I am, and I love pushing myself. I love the adventure aspect and the people. It was a great experience.
Hey, rock on, Rich. Thanks so much for coming on with us. We got to thank we got to thank Casey Lauren Fisher, who turned us on to you. We're going to keep following you. If you could give us just one last little tidbit for our listeners, something to get them out. They may not want to enter an Xterra race just yet, but we got listeners on all spectrums of elite athletes to those that are just beginning. How do you get somebody off the couch to enter into one of these things? Give them a little motivation, Rich, before you go.
Well, nothing's impossible. My personal motto is that there are no limits, and I've lived by that for years. And I think that we control our own destiny, no matter what it is in our lives. And I feel that there's so much to experience out there, and it's not worth it to sit back and hold back. live your dreams. If there's something you want to try in life, get out there and try, whether it's athletically or anything, travel, business endeavor, whatever. But the thing is, with any kind of fitness, I mean, it's something that, initially it might be difficult for you to get involved with. It might be difficult to make that initial jump. But once you start it, it's an incredible feeling. You feel so much better about yourself. It's something that's healthy. You meet so many new people and very interesting and fun people. I mean, it's great all around. So just get out there, and if there's something you want to try athletically, just get out there and try it. You just be smart about it. Don't overdo it at first. Just slowly work into things, but try it. Just don't hold yourself back.
Talking from a guy who was hallucinating at the top of Mount Fuji, Rich Burgunder, thanks so much for joining us. Amen on that advice. It was tremendous stuff. We look forward to talking to you again in the future. Thanks so much for living the run with us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much. When we return, it's kombucha time, Adam Melhuse.
Can't wait.
Kombucha coming back here on Living the Run.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280 The Ticket.
When I was your age and we went camping, Grandpa always told ghost stories.
Were they scary?
They sure were.
Ooh, tell me one.
Create memories that your son or daughter will never forget. Take them camping, hiking, or fishing. But before you go, get everything you need at Four Seasons Outfitters.
Okay, let's see if I can remember one. Oh, yeah. A father and son were camping.
You mean like us?
Uh-huh. And not far from where they were was a spooky old shack.
Is that where the ghost is, Dad?
You'll find backpacks and tents, freshwater and deep-sea fishing equipment, campfire cooking supplies, guns and ammo, everything you need for your next adventure in the great outdoors.
Anyway, everything is quiet when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they hear a voice.
Hey, guys.
Ah!
What's wrong? I was just bringing marshmallows from the kitchen.
Even if the adventure is in your own backyard. Four Seasons Outfitters, your outdoor adventure headquarters for more than 25 years. 432 High Garra, San Luis Obispo.
Hey, honey, can you leave the back porch light on?
Puma Aquatics team offers year-round swim programming for novice, recreational, and competitive swimmers. For 16 years, Puma has developed some of the fastest swimmers on the Central Coast, as well as the nation. Puma has 3 convenient locations to choose from, providing programming for all of San Luis Obispo County. Puma offers swim assessments for new swimmers on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the SLO Kennedy Club, Atascadero Kennedy Club, and Arroyo Grande High School. For more information about Puma Aquatics, check out pumaswim.org. Join the Puma Pride and challenge yourself to reach new levels in your swimming. Puma Aquatics, where pride, passion, and persistence pay off.
The ultimate choice for sports massage in SLO County? Peak Performance. Conveniently located at SLO Wellness Center just blocks from Cal Poly is ready to assist you to reach your personal best. Calling all athletes and fitness enthusiasts. If you're ready to start alleviating symptoms by addressing the true problems, if you are seeking efficient and effective body work, then you can count on Peak Performance. Nagging injury, losing the bounce in your step, pain or tightness keeping you from training hard and reaching your goals? Raise your standards, raise your expectations. Call Peak Performance 543-8688.
Folks, when it comes to the health of my teeth, I will not compromise, and neither should you. It's time you go where my wife and I go. Go see Dr. Ryan Ross. I get it. Not everyone loves a dentist, and heck, even a few of you out there are scared to death of these offices. Bad past experiences? Well, you ever had a bad haircut? How about a bad meal somewhere? You didn't stop getting your haircut, and you certainly didn't stop eating, so stop ignoring your teeth. Dr. Ross's gentle approach, calming demeanor, and office full of upbeat staff put your dental fears to rest. Conveniently located in a great little house on Marsh Street downtown, Dr. Ross's office exudes the highest level of professionalism, mixed with an atmosphere much like your own home. Look, nobody's in a rush here. It's not a get 'em in, get 'em out atmosphere. Every time I'm in Dr. Ross's office, it's like I'm the only guy that matters. No distractions, just full focus on my oral health. If you're interested in the highest quality in dental care and want to walk out of the office every time with a smile, call Dr. Ryan Ross today, 541-5800.
We're back with Living the Run.
Great stuff, Adam, from Rich Burgunder, ex-Terra athlete, extreme stuff. motivating stuff, though. The guy definitely seems to fear nothing. And he's willing to push the body and push his limits and see what his God-given potential is. So it was a kind of neat interview there.
No, I like that, and I like what he was saying at the close there about the way his motto is no limits and stuff like that. And I just started thinking personally how you put limits on. Okay, well I'll do one more set of this of 5, and now it's so usually to your comfort zone, and full well you're going to get that many reps, and you're not pushing, so it's like bust open the limits there, and be open and challenge yourself. I mean, that's what I'm going to take away from this, and and stretch and get uncomfortable. That's my word now, is uncomfortable.
Get uncomfortable. I like it. Make the blood boil. Well, we had, like we said, we're shooting for that segment on exercise, calling out those guys, Ryan Joyner, Athlon Elite, Michael Hughes from Gymnazo, or even any of those CrossFit guys. We'd love to have one of you guys call in on a weekly basis. Challenge our listeners with a kind of a fun workout, something easy to do. But we took a segment last week, and or actually 2 weeks ago. Good stuff. Tara came in, showed us her muffin. We had Virginia come back last week, talked a little bit about a couple raw balls that she had and had made. And this is big stuff in the field of nutrition.
Wow.
And you kind of talked about, getting uncomfortable. Sometimes we have to get a little uncomfortable in the kitchen and try some stuff we haven't tried before, get a little creative, and go after that kind of green eggs and ham scenario and find out there's some darn good stuff out there. So back with us again this week after she gave us some great paleo tips. One of the big hot topics out there in the drink world is kombucha. Kombucha. Virginia, thanks so much for joining us again tonight.
You're welcome. Yes, in fact, kombucha has not something new, something been going on for thousands of years, and what it is exactly is just fermentation. Some people call it yeast and bacteria fermenting in the big jar, and I just want to sort of dismantle some of the myths of kombucha, that it's not hard to make and that it should not cost $5 a jar to purchase it. So it's a very hot health topic right now. People go to New Frontiers and they easily spend $5 a bottle. It only costs about $1 a gallon to make this stuff at home, and it has 3 ingredients.
Well, that's what we want to go with you, Virginia, is because you keep doing some super creative stuff. You make it sound easy, but when people start to hear about bacteria and yeast in their drink, they start to get a little bit nervous, and they want to see it bottled up by somebody else for $3, $4, $5 a shot.
Exactly.
Give us the gist on how easy this stuff is to make at home, the kit that maybe needs to be gotten, or what people need to do to make this safely, effectively, and taste darn good and has tons of nutrients.
And fermentation, it's not an unknown thing. Sassafras makes root beer, ginger makes ginger ale, rye makes beer. These are common fermentations that we drink daily. I mean, bacteria in milk makes yogurt. Again, something we are used to every single day, but we're used to seeing it in packaging and in the store, and it makes us feel more comfortable. Our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, and even before that, have been doing this out of their kitchen. So very easy. All this is, just first to explain what kombucha is and what this big health craze is, it's fermented black tea, period. That's it. It's the fermentation process that occurs when you have the starter culture, which is bacteria and yeast, which is another word for probiotics. So we're all pretty familiar with what probiotics are. Helps the intestinal tract, increases immunity, increases the B vitamins in our diet. We all know it. A lot of us buy jars of probiotics for a lot of money. You can get it in fermented liquids, kombucha. So that's why it's such a health craze. I understand it. I understand why people go and they grab it and they spend $5, and it tastes good. So all you need is a glass jar, organic black tea, and organic cane sugar. And then you do the fermentation process, which I will put on the website so people know how to do it and how easy it is. It takes about 14 days to start. Once you've started it, you can keep going and have gallons of it going constantly in your kitchen. I have to apologize. I was going to bring you guys a sample, but it's a hot commodity in my house. My kids literally chug this stuff when I make it. I let mine ferment so strong that it gets a vinegar taste to it, and they still chug it. They love it. So Have you had kombucha?
Well, it sounds like we can afford it, which is kind of a good thing because you're bringing that cost down, which is a competitive deal. What's one of the other knocks that we have on the kombucha is people kind of have that rumor out there about the alcohol. Talk about the alcohol in it.
Okay, so the alcohol content. That became a popular rumor after Lindsay Lohan's ankle bracelet went off from drinking too much kombucha. That was a theory. Let me first explain something. You're not in a mass production of fermentation containing the pH, the temperature, and the pressure control. That's how beer gets made alcoholic. In the best scenarios, you might get a 0.5% alcohol ratio of your kombucha. The fermentation process really does eliminate both the sugar and the alcohol. If you were to put it in a tight, sealed container out in the sun at perfect controlled temperature and pH, you might begin to increase that alcohol content. It's fermentation. Apple cider vinegar is going to have a little bit of alcohol in it. It's not going to have 0, but it's probably going to be in the 0.02%. If you're really technical and you're really nervous, you could go get an alcohol reader, like a thermometer, and you could measure it. But I'm not too worried about it. It's a pretty diluted amount of alcohol.
Hey, when we talk about kind of plain kombucha, and I know that's out there, but when you go to New Frontiers or Whole Foods and you see the rainbow of colors that's sitting there. Talk about what they're doing there to get
guava goddess.
Yeah.
How do we make the guava goddess? We make the guava goddess very simply. At the end of the fermentation process, once you put it in a large jar and you've let it sit for 14 days, and then you transfer it to something with a stopper, a bottle with a stopper, you add juices. Period. You add ginger. You add cinnamon. You squeeze a guava on top of it. You squeeze some orange juice inside of it. That's all that is. It's as simple as that. It's not a complicated process. You can flavor it however you want to. My household, we get exciting. We add fresh ginger. We put some cinnamon in there, sometimes some nutmeg. Sometimes we'll squeeze a lemon in it. We make our own flavors. We've gotten as crazy as adding algae to ours and making like a vitamin mineral green kombucha, and it's great. I mean, there's endless varieties. Watermelon. I mean, you just could go on and on. So,
hey, good stuff as always. We're grateful for you putting on stuff on the website for people too, because I know people want to try it, but this is one of those ones that for sure starts to stress people out a little bit. They think they're going to go wrong with it. Any tips? Last thing here to keep people from making any major mistakes. Where's the biggest mistake made when making kombucha?
Biggest mistake made is not letting it ferment long enough. So if it tastes sweet when you drink it, it's not fermented. That means you're basically drinking sweet tea. You're back in the South, you're having your black sweet tea. That's all it is. If, for some reason, your SCOBY went bad, the smell of your kombucha would freak you out so bad that you would not drink it. You would open up the lid and you'd be like, whoa, your instincts would kick in and you'd say, that's not normal. So it's pretty distinct if it's gone bad. The other one is if you have some sort of green, fuzzy appearance on what you call your SCOBY or your culture on top, probably should toss it and start again. The fermentation process itself creates a lot of heat and a lot of lactobacteria, and it's going to kill any of these weird ideas that people put all over blogs and molds and blah blah blah. Reality is it is a fungus. That's what we're doing. We're fermenting a fungus, which is black tea. So yes, it is a fungus. It won't hurt you though, just like yogurt doesn't hurt you. So that's the only mistake people make.
Hey, wonderful nutrition. Hey, awesome. Wonderful nutrition advice. We look forward to something great next week. It's almost like we should call this the Meet Virginia Hour or the, Meet and Eat with Virginia. Who's saying that? Train, right? Train saying that's a great little line. Yep. Good stuff. Great segment. Thanks so much. We'll throw that on the website for folks, and we'll get with you next week. Thanks, Virginia.
Great. All right. You're welcome.
Hey, we're going to return with Adam Melhuse here in just moments. Wrap up the show. I got a picture for you, Adam. We just posted up on Facebook. You're going to love this one. Good stuff here on ESPN 1280, The Ticket.
You're listening to Living the Run on ESPN Radio 1280, The Ticket.
Since 1929, Standard Process has been dedicated to providing the highest quality whole food supplements. Their philosophy is simple: to provide nutrients as they are found in nature. Today, scientists are finding more and more evidence demonstrating the benefits of whole food nutrients over high-dose synthetic vitamins. Standard Process's unique products are sold through healthcare professionals who are trained in using whole food nutrition as the first line of defense for the body. Visit www.standardprocess.com for more information or to find a Standard Process healthcare practitioner near you.
We're back with Living the Run.
Great segment there with Virginia. A couple great segments. If you missed out on that nutrition advice on the kombucha, how to make it at home and how to do it safely, we will post that on the website as well as onto Facebook. Check out this photo here, Adam. If you guys haven't seen us on Facebook, that is one gnarly-looking knee. Saw this girl in the clinic last week. She came in. What was real cool about this story, she goes down. This thing looked ugly. You can see that bruising pretty significant on the inside of the knee, too, on that medial side. But mile 3, she went down, created this disaster. She finished the 12-mile run. That's truly living the run. She went after it and made no excuses, and good stuff. So if you want to see a pretty gnarly little scabber on the knee with some pretty significant bruising, you'll respect this one a lot to go 9 miles with a knee that looked like that. So pretty good stuff. Well, good stuff on the show again. Adam, what do you think? Tips and takeaways. I think I know where you're going to go with it, but tips and takeaways, where do we go?
My takeaway is definitely breaking down my limitations and the limitations that I set on myself when I'm working out, and just to get nice and cozy and comfortable in that workout, and no longer I want to try and push it. So kombucha, I want to try it.
Kombucha, I'm going to take it off of what we talked about earlier. David Rivas, he was cranking down on that bike. He goes 8 minutes every day, keeps time on it. And with what Judd Clark's father-in-law said, get that blood to boil. I've been really resonating with that since he said that. And what a great, great thing that on a daily basis we could get that blood to boil. So, quick, I got to send out a happy birthday. One, actually, to David Rivas' wife. If you guys don't know Janet Rivas, this lady absolutely flat out lives the run, and people who know her know that about her. One of the most positive people I ever met. But she shares the same birthday with my wife, Adam. Today is Molly's 36th birthday, so happy birthday, Molly. We are heading out here to go to Hawaii.
Wow.
For her sister's wedding, which will be fun stuff. So next week we'll have a recap from one of our better shows, which will be good. And I was thinking about Hawaii, and I've always loved radio, and I love the different broadcasters. Up in the Bay Area for a while, and I know he went to ESPN for a while. I don't know if he's still around, but Larry Beal. Remember Larry Beal? I don't know if that guy's still around, but he coined the old phrase when he was doing A's stuff and so forth. Aloha means goodbye.
Yeah, nice.
I always liked that. That was pretty good. So next week again, we will have a recap from one of our favorite shows. Max Woodcock, thank you as always, producer Max Woodcock. Thanks, Adam, for filling in. Good stuff as always. I loving having you pinch hit for us.
Anytime.
Yeah, so anyway, I guess that's it from us, right? Aloha means goodbye in this case. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on livingtherun.com. Some great segments. If you missed last week's show, again, Winter Vanecki. Tonight, Rich Burgunder. We got nutrition recipes, all the like. Folks, for the rest of the week, live healthy, live bold. Come live the run.